Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
We are back again for the second time this week.
Oh, we back.
Ooh, for a good episode, man.
Welcome.
This is our social breakdown.
Yes.
Let's kick it off. I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And we are the Loose Cannons Podcast, because that's every week. And that's every week we sit down and we break down entertainment.
What else?
Pop culture.
What else?
Politics.
Okay, what else?
And movies and how they all intersect, plus TV. Ooh,
I love it.
Listen, we got a great episode for you guys.
Yes, we do.
Just want to welcome you. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube,
Yes.
welcome. Comment below, like,
Please
and
do.
subscribe.
That'd be nice.
If you're one of those people who are listening to us on iTunes,
What else?
Stitcher,
What else?
Spotify,
You got something else?
any of those places, SoundCloud.
Bam.
Welcome.
Thank you. We
Listen.
appreciate it.
Hit us up on our social media.
Yep.
Candace Podcast on Instagram.
Yes.
Candace Podcast on Facebook.
What else?
Candace Podcast on Twitter.
Yep.
Join the conversation.
It'd be great.
All right, let's jump in. Social media. Ooh-wee.
What do we have this week?
Kanye West.
Easy. Okay.
Sunday service.
Anybody else checking out Sunday service?
Listen.
That'd be great.
I've been catching them all.
Yeah.
I watch them on YouTube because they've now been streaming them. The one that was in Atlanta. He had one that was in Chicago.
Okay.
I love gospel music, period.
Yeah.
I'm a gospel music guy. I'm the type of guy who will listen to Fred Hammond and Dollywood Clerkin and everybody.
Okay.
I listen. I'm down. I'm in tune. I'm with it.
I like it.
Kanye West has been going around. If you don't understand who a Sunday service is, he's been doing gospel music. He has a whole choir,
Yes.
which they do traditional gospel music, plus they do gospel flips.
Okay.
In which they take like they took Genuine So Anxious.
Yes.
I love that one.
That one was really good.
I love that one. So they do gospel flips. They take like regular secular music and then they turn it into gospel songs. So dope.
Okay.
Kanye's supposed to be on his new kick. Kanye's the new Kanye, which he's finding, going back to his spiritual roots. Starting with his first album From Jesus Walks, going back there, and apparently he's on a whole new journey.
So people could start supporting him again?
So people, that's what they say.
I like
They're
it.
saying that Kanye's only doing this because he's trying to get the support and the support of the people of color. Because people of color's weakness is Jesus. That's what they said. They said black people love Jesus.
Oh, man.
So if he does the Jesus stuff,
They'll catch the Holy Ghost?
they'll catch it and forgive
catch the
Kanye in a
Holy
second.
Ghost.
They'll forgive him.
Okay.
They'll forgive him. Listen,
The Lord said, turn the other
the
cheek.
cheek.
Okay.
That's it. So listen, he slowed down talking about all on the politics stuff.
Yes.
Got rid of Candace Owens.
Okay.
Stopped talking about slavery being a choice.
You right.
And he started singing Negro spirituals.
Okay.
But people don't believe him. They say you need more people, Kanye. You need more than a choir, Kanye.
I believe you. I hear it.
He's supposed to be dropping. The next album is supposed to be a gospel album.
Okay.
Listen, I love what Kanye's doing.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that can hold people on two sides of my mind. Kanye, you sound stupid when you said all that other stuff. But boy, is it beautiful to hear you do that genuine flip.
No, I'm. You know me. I'm the exact same way. I don't glorify or idolize celebrities. So if you're just here to entertain me, guess what I need? Your entertainment.
But you see, and I do idolize Kanye. I love Kanye, but I love Kanye for all the right things.
right.
The things that connect
You
with
can
me.
take the good and
That's
leave the
right.
bad.
When Kanye was like, I'm wearing the red hat, the Trump hat, I'm like, no, not me, dog.
No, that's not us.
That's not it for me, dog.
When you got an album, come back and see me.
That's it. That's
Enjoy
it.
yourself.
I let that one go. But when he's doing the Jesus walks, I'm I'm in there.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
in
you.
there.
I
I'm in there for the right things. But people brought up this whole conversation. They say Kanye West is playing us all.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I really do think it's possibly pure from his heart, but I believe that people hold so many ideas in their minds. They hold a lot of ideas in their minds. You got Christians who are super about forgiveness and love of Christ, and they have guns in their house.
Right. So
That means they'll pop you if you come through the door.
And they'll forgive you later.
They'll forgive you later. Listen, we all hold some level of hypocrisy in us. It's okay to call it out.
Right.
But don't act like you don't hold some level of hypocrisy inside you also.
But all right, so this is my thing, right? Okay, we're being bamboozled. Currently.
Okay,
that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
All right,
because he's selling merch. That's the big thing. He's selling Jesus merch.
I don't buy it. So I'm not being bamboozled.
Me neither.
I'm not over here being swindled.
That's
you
it.
know, like the things that I enjoy. I'm not the consumer. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Nope.
Like, it could be like, oh, but you support him. How? I mean,
a click on YouTube? I don't know.
This is exactly what people complain about. It's just like, oh, but you know, like you're endorsing him. I don't tell anyone to listen to stuff that I listen to.
No.
Look.
Unless you ask me.
Right. Look. I'm giving you a review. You shouldn't go based on my review. You should go based on the fact that you want to go see a movie.
That's it.
Or you want to watch something.
That's
or
it.
you want to listen to something.
That's it.
I mean, if you think that my opinion is worthy to get you to go and purchase something, maybe you're giving me a little bit too much power.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it. At the end of the day, I'm going to listen to it.
Because I'm crazy.
Right.
I like Grease too.
Go check it out. Michelle Pfeiffer is out here killing it.
Yeah, listen, a lot of people disagree.
Yeah. Nah.
So, boom, listen, at the end of the day, I think,
Go ahead.
again, we look at social media like that's emblematic of the world, and the world knows about Sunday service. You can ask a whole bunch of people who don't know about Sunday service. Right. And then we also look at social media and we're like, oh, everybody's hating on Sunday service. No, it's just some loud people that's hating on Sunday service. There's a lot of people who are going to disagree with it. He was in New York. He was at Allen AME Church, which is the church that my mother goes to. It's in Queens. She wasn't there that week. I was so upset. And then she had the nerve to tell me. She was like, yeah, he was there. I'm like, and you didn't say anything? He was going to, what?
I would have had all my Sundays finest.
I would have been there. I'd have had the top hat and everything.
Yeah.
I'd have had a derby. I'd have been like, going to the Kanye show.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello. Yeah.
That's it. I had an all-white pinstripe. Yeah. Yo, but listen. You can like many things about a person and dislike different things about people. That's just with everybody.
Right.
There's no relationship you have in your life where you like everything about them.
Right.
It's just not realistic. I like certain things about Kanye. I like a lot of things about Kanye. I like Kanye's confidence because Kanye's confidence pushes you to think about yourself in a certain level at a certain place that allows you to propel yourself to do some things that you might not do.
Right.
The same thing I like about Diddy. But at the end of the day, I'm not dating young girls either. Right. Diddy was somebody 22. That's not me, dog.
Right. That's not my thing.
That's not my thing. So it's like, boom, just leave Kanye West alone and stop calling people fake. Right. Listen, there's plenty of people who are just going to regular church that just came out the club and they're trying to cleanse all that dirty wine sweat off their body once they hit Sunday.
You are correct.
And that's their right. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Let people go on whatever spiritual journey they're on. Whether Kanye's faking or not, whatever.
Right.
It don't bother you.
Right.
Go stick to your old regular gospel.
Right.
Me over here, I'm doing the So Anxious remix with Kanye.
Yeah, we live in this world where everything is so absolute. Like, it's
yes.
Like, all right, it's an all or nothing. Like, you got to be great and phenomenal. But I mean, a lot of people are not looking in the mirror. Like, there are a lot of things about you that aren't phenomenal. That you're not perfect. You're not great. And
you're not all Maya Angelou.
Right. There are things that you would like to shed yourself.
That's right.
And you're going to be the first person to tell someone else that they're wrong for what they do. Or like, oh, but they have this platform. But they have this platform.
That's right.
And the whole thing is, if you don't want them to have that platform, don't give them that platform in your head.
Don't give them that platform.
I'm not out here like judging anybody. It's just like, oh, but he's supporting the bad. I don't listen to Kanye for politics. I'm gonna tell you that from day one. Like, there's nothing that I'm just like, preach, brother.
That's
Continue
right.
to tell me what you're talking about.
Wait, what was it again? Slavery? Listen, just like I don't listen to Kanye for politics, I'm not listening to Ja Rule if another tower goes down. Like, nobody's interested.
Why is TRL asking Ja
Why?
Rule what
We
his
need
thoughts
Ja.
are? Right.
Thoughts? No, we don't. And we don't need Kanye's thoughts. I can read.
Right.
I can read. There are experts on this topic.
Thank you.
That I can go to and I can read. Don't need Kanye. I don't even need him to sing about it.
Right.
And if he does, boop, not going to listen to it.
Right. That's not my
unless it's banking. All right.
It's a banger,
So Kanye's out there doing this thing. Kanye's still doing his Trump support stuff.
Right.
Cool. Whatever.
That's your
There's a lot of people I know who are Trump supporters, and I don't agree with them. But damn it. Do you want to support him in this time? Because it looks like he might be going down like Nixon.
Yeah, he might.
He might be going down like Nixon. My goodness. This Ukraine stuff is wild.
It is.
People keep like throwing it under the rug like, well, he did. Like, if we have a thing called attempted murder because it's bad for you to even try.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's bad for him to even attempt to do these things. Right. It's bad that he tried to obstruct justice.
He's brought us to the brink of nuclear war, obstructed justice at the FBI, and in direct violation of the Constitution, he's taken money from foreign governments and threatened to shut down news organizations that report the truth. If that isn't a case for impeaching and removing a dangerous president, then what has our government become? I'm Tom Steyer, and like you, I'm a citizen who knows it's up to us to do something. It's why I'm funding this effort to raise our voices together and demand that elected officials take a stand on impeachment. A Republican Congress once impeached a president for far less. Yet today, people in Congress and his own administration know that this president is a clear and present danger, who's mentally unstable and armed with nuclear weapons. And they do nothing.
It's all bad that these things are happening. And the reason why it's bad is because once you make a precedence for a person like a president to do, then you keep bending it and it's going to just keep getting worse. It becomes slippery. Let Congress do what the fuck they got to do.
Exactly.
Now, this is my stance on the whole impeachment thing. The inquiry goes through. The evidence does not bear out.
Right.
Leave him the fuck alone. Leave him the fuck alone.
I think that I said this before, but I think that it's all about timing. I feel like this is information that they had, and it was just like, can we do this to stop him from being able to try and run and campaign?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because regardless, chances are it's going to go until...
It's absolutely going to go. The point is the RNC now has to scramble.
Right.
The RNC is going in scramble mode because if we can't rely on who we thought was going to be our guy, then who are we going to put up in this position? Because the Dems already got all kinds of social media for the 16 people. We got every flavor.
16.
The Dems is Crayola. They like red, kind of red, little blue, baby blue.
We got a couple blacks, a couple obsidians,
everything,
some dark browns, some light browns.
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. You want a woman, you want a white woman, you want a black woman, you want an Indian woman, you want an old woman, we want a young woman.
It sounds like
Dust Till Dawn, titty.
Yes, exactly. That's
the
exactly
Dems got black titty. The Dems got Latino titty. Titty.
Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Cheech. Man, Cheech.
Every flavor you could imagine.
All right, but I believe that, all right, if they're going to try to get him out or if it's strategic just to try to hurt the campaign, that's like the main idea.
It all looks bad. Listen, the core base, there's that percentage that likes the corruption because what they actually grew up with thinking is that when people hear him be disrespectful, they don't hear disrespect. They hear people telling it like it is because they grew up thinking that this was okay. The problem is we've projected this world of masculinity and control and a person who's taking charge as an asshole.
Right.
That's what the world looks at a leader as. They look at them as assholes. We haven't seen enough leaders that move in a certain way and shows aggression when it's time, and then shows softness when it's time. We believe that this leadership is masculine and masculine is aggression. And so that's when they see Trump and doing some ridiculous stuff, they identify with that because they're like, well, my father was like that. He would say some outlandish stuff, but he really loved me. It's like, no, he was an asshole. Your father should never run a country. Right. That's it. That's it. So we have the guy who should never run the country running the country, but we're there already. Right. And if the inquiry bears out, he should be gone. If it doesn't, he's not going to be gone, but still, these attempts are still bad. All these attempts are bad. He probably shouldn't get another term. Will he get another term? It's strongly possible because he has a core base that still likes the things that he's doing and the things that he's potentially going to do. But it's going to sway some of those people. And I think the Dems are hedging their bet. Can we get back those Obama voters? Those people who voted for Obama, who now voted for Trump. And who are just going to say, nah, we can't trust the Republican Party because what looks bad is that the Republican Party isn't handling this right. Right. The people who are defending him, they're like, come on, like, this is too much. Ukraine, come on. But we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to throw anything else in there because
it's just too much. Yeah. It's too much. But, I mean...
On a lighter note.
On a lighter note.
You told me about this, and I mean,
oh my gosh.
For those of y'all who've been wondering, like the rest of us from the last 10 years, right? 15 years, where the hell has LYFE Jennings been?
He has multiple albums.
He does?
You know, first of all, the only album I've ever listened to from LYFE Jennings was the first one. Right. And I was a proponent of the first one. Yeah. I saw LYFE Jennings first perform at Apollo. I wasn't there at the Apollo, but he was on. You remember when Apollo was popping with Steve Harvey? And his story was compelling, and everybody was like, oh, he was in jail. And, you know, he did all this stuff, and he was like, yo, he changed over his life. This, that, and the third. I was like, man, this is a great story. And then I listened to the music, and I'm like, yo, I'm into this. I'm into this. Yep. I'm into it. LYFE has like about 5 or 6 albums. Nobody's listening to his shit. No. But okay, so boom, he's on the Breakfast Club. Right. Charlemagne the God and all of them. It starts off a little iffy because apparently Charlemagne brings it up. He's like, let's get it off on the table. It seemed like we had a disagreement, blah, blah, blah. Things went wrong. And LYFE was like, no, I didn't get it wrong. He was like, because apparently Amanda Seales, which is Charlemagne's homegirl, but she's well-known actress, social media personality. Okay. But she put up a clip of LYFE's song called Slave. All right?
Welcome, sir.
What's that name?
What's up, man? What's up, good brother?
All is well. What's up with you, man?
I think we had a little misunderstanding.
Man, we ain't had no misunderstanding.
About a month ago.
Nah, we ain't had no misunderstanding.
Well, let's break down what happened for people that just joined us. So LYFE Jennings released a song, and
called Slave.
Called Slave, and
Beat
Amanda
It Like
Seales.
a Slave. Beat It Like a Slave.
Beat It Like a Slave.
Yeah.
Amanda Seales reposted the record on her Instagram, and she was leaving comments and faces about it, and Charlemagne reposted it. And you had some words, Charlemagne had some words, and then you had some words back to Charlemagne. What was your thoughts on the record, Charlemagne?
I didn't have no words. I didn't even know it was LYFE's record. And I just said that I said people don't have friends if they let you leave the studio with records like this.
You said some of y'all don't have any friends. If you did, you wouldn't make mistakes like this record. And
yes.
That's what you said.
Now, LYFE, you've been in the game a long time. You know everybody's not going to agree with all your music.
LYFE Jennings didn't really like that comment.
You know, man, I just be feeling like, man, like listen, I think you did know it was my record.
Had no clue.
Because Amanda, whatever her last name is,
Seales.
Amanda, like, she put my name on the joint.
All right. So the song is called Slave, and she's like, this is ridiculous because he's talking about beating the pussy like a slave.
Ah.
All right?
Okay.
And so Charlemagne's like, yeah, the song was like, You can't play with stuff like that.
Right.
You're wilding.
People are sensitive.
But the truth is, it wasn't even that. It was the song was whack.
Yeah,
Like
but
slavery is a very sensitive subject. You can't really make light of slavery, but it wasn't even the content of the record. It was the fact that I just didn't think the record was good. I was like, what is this?
man, you a hater, man.
I'm just telling you the truth.
Right.
All right, listen.
I'll take a bad song.
I listened to the
this
song.
Is the whole thing. Is it a single?
I don't know if it's a single or she was just listening to it on the album.
No. Oh, because I'm like, if it's a terrible song, like I could take a terrible song on the album that's never going to get any play of life. But you got some lyrics for it.
No song in his album is going to get any play. So it don't matter if it's a single or not. It don't matter.
The album is called 777.
777, which is
who wants to go and check it out.
the number of completion. Okay, hold on. So let me get this.
Please get us some snippets. So
I'm gonna
I
read the
can-
lyrics because we can't play it because I don't want us to get copyright.
He would hope that we would play his song. How about that?
For real, they probably don't even have it on SoundScan.
Yo, that's wrong. But
All right.
we're gonna look. I got my thumb out, ready for thumbs up or thumb down per line.
Okay, here I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna try to sing it. All right.
Okay.
This ain't the part we fall in love. This is the part we kiss and fuck. Do all the things we said we never do. I'm gonna beat it like a slave so you don't run away.
Wait, what?
Wait. Got the whips and chains. Call me master. I'm gonna beat it like a slave.
Wait, what?
And work you every day, do everything. I say I'm your master. I'm going to beat it like a slave. I'm going to beat that pussy like a slave. Your booty moving like your booty just got foreclosed.
Wait, to what?
Because the booty's moving. So if you move it in life, you move it so fast because if you get foreclosed, they kick it out. So you got to get out fast. All the stuff,
Yo.
throw it out. So she's throwing the ass in a circle. Like they throw your stuff out the house.
I can't.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
He goes on Power 105. This is the part when I listened to it, I'm like, he's just lying. He said, first of all, guys, he was like, I'm
This is
talking
your
about,
life voice.
he
I
said,
wanna
first
hear
of all,
it.
guys, like I'm talking about,
like everybody just be so quick to take the negative and try to turn it into something that it ain't, man. So when I said, just to clarify, when I said beat it like a slave, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a sex slave. And if you watch the video, you can see everything that's in the video, man. So it's not like, and then you said, well, somebody had said that I must have planned it that way, or I knew I was gonna get some flack. It never crossed my mind one time with this song when I was
didn't
about
say
to put
that.
it out.
like a sex slave. And if you watch the video, which nobody has, like nobody knew you had an
There's a
album.
video?
Nobody knew
he
he has he has a video. So the whole thing he's saying is like a sex slave. He said whips and chains, call me your master. That's not sex slave. That's slave.
He didn't say nothing about picking
That's
cotton.
Chi would tell OG a for slave.
Are you not entertained?
That's 12 years of slave life. That's 777 years of slave. Come on, he lying. Like if you got caught, he thought it was gonna be something that people were gonna talk about, and people are, and people were gonna download. I'm not clicking ad. I'm not clicking ad.
I'm not even gonna listen to it.
It's ridiculous.
Someone's
First of
got the
all,
bootleg version online.
I love life, but he's far gone. Then he started talking about how he feels like, black radio doesn't hold on to, people, the black people who did it before, all the classics. If that was true, which it is, you still wouldn't be included in that life.
Yeah.
We got so many other classics to go through.
Definitely not going through yours.
Nobody's
Yo,
calling up
definitely not.
you.
Hey, you got that
While we're
old-
busy with Darnell Jones and Carl Thomas and Jagged Edge and
Hold
Drew
on,
Hill.
hold on, yo. You got that old Life Jennings joint?
No, sir, I don't have it. And this is coming from a person who loved the first album.
Dang, dog. I can't.
But I went back and listened to the first album today.
Was it any good?
It's good for a nigga who spent
my
15
God. I
years
can't
in
stand
jail.
you.
I'm telling and we were grading him on a slant. The story was everything. He's not that great of a singer.
Not that good.
It sounds like it's not polished. It's not. And then I was listening to this. It still ain't polished like that. Oh, man. LYFE sounds like, okay, you've been on 42nd Street where them niggas force you to put the headphones on your head.
Can't stand you.
And then you kind of like some of it, so you buy.
Son,
That's LYFE. That's LYFE. It's
Okay.
like, oh, okay.
So you're saying that like by the third album he needed to get shot 9 times?
LYFE sounds like a nigga who wrote every song banging on the wall in jail, just like,
Yeah, I can't with you.
must be life after all. That's yo. I'm telling you. And listen, he need to stop because he went and he showboated and he showed himself a fool on Power 105. In LYFE, as much as I loved your first album, I loved it for that time. Your music has not aged well. It has not aged well.
Wasn't we in high school when his first?
It had a long time ago. Let's see.
You said he had got 6 albums. I mean,
Mad albums,
I'm
yo.
about to pull the Jay-Z 6 albums in 12 years.
2004.
All right, so we was in
15
college,
years.
yeah.
15 years old.
All right.
And that's great on the slant because it's a song that I know that I love. But if I heard it today,
Skip.
damn.
Skip.
If it was on in the club, I'd go to the DJ and I'd be like, yo, you got any Jackie's?
Yo, you got that Jackie
You got the
though?
Jackie's though?
You ain't got that
man.
Jackie singing Life and Jennings songs.
Life, you got to stop. Listen, you lost it, brother. Hold on to your fan base, though. Hold on to your core fan base. Those are the people who are going to support you. They'll come out to your shows, but you're not getting the youth. You're not getting the people who were even young when you were out.
Well, I mean, as long as he's not with a label, he could be making some money,
That's right.
right? So,
All right, go watch that. Yeah, go watch that interview, guys. Boom.
hit him with the
Oh man.
yeah.
All right, so
We got these 2 topics coming.
what was
up.
it? What was it? A week ago now?
Yeah, just about.
Just about a week ago now. And the whole situation started 2 years ago. Botham Jean.
Yes.
We'll just put it out there. The Botham Jean verdict. We haven't been able to talk about it, so we're going to talk about it now.
All right. She was found guilty.
Yes, she was found guilty, which was very interesting. She was sentenced
To 10 years.
10 years.
Okay.
And now I had already thought, and I didn't put too much into it, not thinking that, of course, every state is very different. I always thought that the judge handed down the sentencing.
I think it's different depending on the system or the state.
Exactly. So there, the actual jury deliberates for the sentencing.
Right.
The jury gave her 10 years, which I found it very interesting because I'm like, if they're going to find her guilty of murder, I would have thought they would have given her more than the 10 years. Now, we'll start with, in your minds, 10 years adequate?
All right. So every person who I've spoken to about this is, if you know charges and the times and what they carry,
Yep.
basically 10 years for murder is glorified manslaughter.
Yes.
Because manslaughter is basically 10 years.
That's right.
As a maximum in most places, if I'm
Yep.
correct. So, I mean, to know that they gave her 10 years, I mean, honestly, I understood it. And, actually, when I saw the verdict, I was actually shocked because I already assumed that it was going to be a manslaughter case.
Got you.
I never really thought that it was going to be a murder case
I
from
agree.
the beginning. So to get 10 years, I understand it because basically that's the maximum that they would have
Yep.
got. So
I think I know where the partition happened with the murder and how they sentenced her. We got to talk about all the things that happened in the case. But 10 years is what I thought in my head should happen to her. 10 to 15. But I got to preface that with I'm not a 25 to life person in most situations.
yeah, me neither.
Serial killers, serial rapists, I understand it.
yeah.
But in most situations, I'm not 25 to life. I'm nowhere near that when it comes to drug crimes. Nowhere near that.
I'm the rehabilitation type.
That's right. That's right. Is 10 years going to be a lot and tough for her? Absolutely. Now, is it really going to affect her if she gets out with
5 years.
5
parole.
years parole? Yeah, then that changes the whole dynamic. That's why it probably should have been 15 because the family needs to feel some relief. I even watched the interview on Dr. Phil. Given the situation, the man should not have been killed. He was killed doing something innocently, and you got to pay for that.
Right.
the worst part about this situation, what makes me want to be punitive in this situation, was how she handled it after. That what seems to have not been a person who was concerned about the life that she just took, what seems to have not been a person who was concerned about potentially stopping the bleeding to make sure before the paramedics get there. Because don't worry about no gloves. You get whatever you're going to have to get.
Right.
You just got to stop the bleeding. You got to stop this person from dying at this moment. That's the most important thing. And to find out that she was calling other people before she even called those are all situations that were really bad and said, you know what? This person really does need to be punished. 25 years, 30 years, I don't think so. I don't think so. But does the 10 years set the precedence for what will happen after this? Because that's the point that we say. We say we do this because we want people to see, oh, this is what happened to this person, and this is what could happen to you, so you better tread lightly.
Right.
I don't think anybody's treading lightly anymore because she really almost got off.
Right.
It was very odd, the judge allowing the castle doctrine. Now, you have people who said she allowed it because it prevents like certain things happening in the appeal. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not a legal analyst. But it's very difficult to even put on the table that she potentially could have been protecting her castle when it wasn't her castle. It's not her home. It's a really, really bad situation. The only problem that I really have with the situation is how people talk about it, because people seem to still hang on this. She might have made a mistake. There was absolutely no mistake in murdering Botham Jean.
Right.
She intended to murder him. But she might have made a mistake going to the wrong apartment.
Right.
I believe, this is just my belief, no evidence of it. She was distracted. She was texting. Evidence of that. I believe she was under the influence, narcotics or alcohol.
Right.
She went to the wrong apartment and she reacted horribly.
Right.
Part of that was her training to react like that. And that's the problem.
Right.
The problem is Botham Jean is the ultimate victim.
Right.
But Amber Gyger is a victim of policing culture.
Right.
Amber Gyger is a victim of punitive culture. The Amber Gyger is a victim of the culture of kill and axe later.
Right.
Amber Gyger is the victim of non-retreat laws in which we say, if you can get away, you don't have to.
Right.
Just murder the person. We're breeding a culture of people who are only going to use their weapons to murder and not worry about what happens because they feel that their life is more important.
Right.
She was a selfish individual. She thought her life was more important at that moment than just retreating. Even if she goes into the doorway, there's so many other places for her to retreat to be safe. She has a weapon with her. She chose not to do that. She chose to go in, guns blazing, murdered him. She got to go down.
Right.
No mistake. She said it. It was not a mistake. She intended to murder. That's intent right there, ladies and gentlemen. This was not a mistake that the jury came back with murder.
Right.
It was actually made sense that they came back with murder.
Exactly.
The only thing that made this situation why people would think they would possibly come back with manslaughter, which everybody did, including myself, is because she's a cop.
Right.
Which gives her the, oh, well, maybe she was doing something, you know. Who knows if any of this story is true? But we know that he's dead. And that's the problem.
This is one of those things that, especially given the circumstances of saying that it's the level of exhaustion, this is what police are always going through, this, that, and the other. Okay, so how I see it is, all right, well, if she's going to be guilty and she's going to get 10 years and she's going to get the benefit of the doubt, the leniency, then that means that there's a whole bunch of labor practices that we got to look at
All of
at this moment.
Yeah.
Like there's no like, all right, this is just an instance. No, because if this is what is a repetitive thing that is happening and this is the behavior, this is what we should attack.
That's right.
This is the results of this.
I can't use tired, though.
Right.
First of all, I think what we have to stop implying in this culture is that police job is so hard It's hard for some of them.
Right.
Because some of them are experiencing more action than others. Right. Everyone out there is not running from bullets. Right. It's not bad boys. They're not all catching criminals in the act. Some of them are just giving tickets.
Right. And one of the things you can't test is you can't test someone's bravery.
That's it. That's it. So all of these things are not happening to all of these people. When people say they have such a hard job, they have a potential for having it.
Right.
But that's not the case.
Right.
But guess what? Who has a hard job? The iron workers.
Right.
They're all up there.
Right.
They all can die and fall to their death.
Right.
Like there's so many other jobs which is legitimately more dangerous than being a police officer because
Across
everybody's not in the line of fire.
Right.
So her being tired should be no different from anybody being tired.
Right.
And if that's the case, like you said, then I guess police officers can't work 8 hours. They can't work 16 hours. They need to cap out.
Right.
They need to. But that doesn't change Botham Jean's situation.
Right. Exactly.
She still went in there and murdered him. That's it. I'm sorry that you're tired, but maybe then you shouldn't be carrying a gun after 16 hours.
Right.
But you won't do that. So you got to take the responsibility of how you act when you have that weapon.
Right.
That's it.
You know what's one thing that I've thought about also is there's two things. So there's this idea that the off-duty cop, because you're a cop and you're always on duty,
and that's a problem.
That's a problem. So I was thinking to myself also, in the military you can't really take your weapon, like,
and you would think,
right? Like, all right, so I mean, I understand the obvious, like, oh well, we need more cops on the street, or well, the whole thing is, all right, well, if you're off duty, then you shouldn't be considered a cop anymore.
You're not.
So
you shouldn't be.
You should leave your weapon at home.
That's right.
And I mean, you should leave your weapon at the precinct.
Yep.
Because once you walk out in the streets, plain clothes,
that's
you're done.
it.
You're a civilian again.
That's it.
You know,
because it creates a dangerous dynamic. Cops still act like assholes because they're regular people. You're out. We're both in a situation. We get into an argument at the Dollar Tree.
Right.
You get aggressive. I knock you the fuck out. That's my right.
Right, to defend yourself.
And if I'm wrong, I get arrested and go to jail. Right. But because you're a cop, now it's, oh, he assaulted me as a cop. I have my weapon. I pulled my weapon. You're creating a dangerous dynamic. It's a dangerous, dangerous dynamic that you wouldn't allow for a civilian to do. Don't put them in that situation. We have to change the culture all the way around. Right. And the sad thing is it's not going to do that because there's still people who was in their silos as if people have attacked this woman so badly for making a mistake. No, she murdered a man.
Honestly, in a lot of ways, I think it's a matter of time. All right, so this is kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
During the 70s, let's say around the 70s, we had this far fall of how the country perceived the military. Because before the 70s, it was the most honorable job you could have. You can do this, you can do that. But Vietnam by itself changed it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I feel like in a lot of ways, there could be a case in which policing can be changed and culturally as far as the way that we view as a whole the culture of policing. You know?
That's right.
So
we have to be willing to do it.
Right.
And people have to start telling the truth about it. Because if all we do is say that they're heroes, they're heroes, they're heroes, who's going to do anything about these heroes?
Right.
But when you say that they're people and people do things and people do bad things some days and they do bad things other days, then you're like, okay, well, we have to put things in place for those people who do bad things some days. You could be a good person all the whole year. You could be a good person all your life. You shoot a person wrongfully, you did the wrong thing. You got to pay the consequences. Right. You don't get to allow, oh, okay, he's been great on the force. Fuck that. Right. That's somebody's child. That's somebody's brother. That's somebody's husband. So, but with the 10 years, I think that the jury was totally looking at it properly when they gave the guilty. But I think that the jury makeup affected both. The jury makeup propelled it towards giving the guilty verdict, and the jury makeup propelled it forward to giving 10 years. I think it's because there were a lot of women on the jury. And I think that it's hard to disconnect. And I think that the women, because of the story, also saw themselves and said that 10 years is enough time.
Right.
As I think if it was mostly men would be more prone to giving more time. Because
would be more prone to punishment.
More prone to punishment. And I'm not saying either is right or wrong, because 10 years could be right. But it's just the way that people look at physical things and things that could harm you. Those women were able to put themselves in that place. If you're a man, you automatically put yourself in Botham Jean's situation. If you're a woman, you automatically put yourself in excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. Amber Geiger's place and said, well, even though she did murder him, maybe it was a mistake that she walked in the door, so we probably shouldn't give her the full punishment. And I think that's what happens, and it simply just came down to 10 years. Is that enough? Maybe. But I know that the family doesn't feel fulfilled in that. But we have to go to the thing that was looming. Because after the sentencing, the whole world saw this hug. 2 hugs. Hug from the brother, hug from the judge. What's your take on the hugs?
I was satisfied with the judge's explanation of it.
Okay.
Because her thing was, she was asked during the proceedings, and she said that she didn't want to do anything until after the sentencing, after everything was done, and understanding that people do need, like I said, I'm about the rehabilitation part.
Absolutely.
So to know that, one, you're not by yourself, regardless of who it is, what type of person, police or not, black or white, female or male, the idea that, like, it's about the rehab. It's about getting you on the way. Same thing with the brother. The brother said that, like, you know, as far as forgiving her because that's what his brother would have wanted, like, I definitely understand.
Totally.
That.
And he explains it a little more on Dr. Phil.
Right. I didn't see
And he basically says that, like, he just didn't want to hold hatred in his heart.
Right.
And he still didn't believe she got enough time. But he didn't want hatred in his heart for her. So it wasn't as sensitive as people made it, like, oh, he's just forgiving her.
Right, exactly.
That wasn't it, people. But my situations, I understand him, but for the judge to do it, it looked bad. Even though her reasoning makes sense, but all of the things that happened around this case, for her to do it, it just looked bad.
Right.
And sometimes when things look bad, you just shouldn't do it.
Right.
You just shouldn't do it, because the perception of this now, the whole narrative has shooken the world.
Right.
And she's kind of repositioned again into this victim situation that people had already put her in. The last thing I think Amber Gyger needed was to feel as if she didn't do anything wrong or do anything as bad as people are saying it. She needs to know how bad it was. No matter what the time is, the only way to get through this, get past this, is for her to know the severity of it. And the way that she carried on in the courtroom and the way her testimony went, there's no room for her to really understand at that moment how bad what she did was. Right. Because it wasn't your training. Right. It was wrong. You had other options. Right. Don't act like you didn't choose. Right. The thing is, even if the other option could have potentially got you killed, there was still another option. Right. That's in everything. That's how I look at all of it.
Right. So my biggest thing about it was, I said that I understood what the judge did and why she did it. And like you said, like, it's the perception of it. And I said, honestly, what she should have did was brought her back to her chambers at the end of it and did it. Because then it's not for the cameras.
She said she didn't know the cameras were on. The cameras were supposed to be off, but the cameras are there. And if you think that cameras are going to be there seeing everybody getting hugged up, like they're going to just not turn them on.
And that's the whole thing. I feel like, you know, saying that the cameras are off is one thing. But I always feel like, one, the cameras are always on. And
why would they?
And two is, we won't put that out is like the thing. It's not like
Yeah.
the whole proceeding is going to be recorded, but whatever can't be put out is what we won't put out. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
Yep.
So I just felt like she was caught in a bad position.
Yes.
She shouldn't have did it that way.
She should took her back to the chamber.
Right, exactly.
She got caught up in the emotion of the situation, and I understand it as a human being. But she's a judge at this point.
Right.
She's like, and if we think that in 3 years, 4 years, they're not going to use this footage for her parole hearing,
Exactly.
you're a fool.
Right.
All of this is position. They're going to use the brother saying all of this. Oh, well, they forgive. Why should we not give her a chance? She's getting out with this icing on the cake.
And that's one of the reasons why I was just like, everything that is done, I guess, on that level, you have to be aware of what you're doing as far as what it contributes to. Yeah. And so the thing that I know a lot of people are getting on the judge, but I'm just like, we don't know her character. We don't know who she is and the type of judge she is. So, I mean, like, we could be like, oh, like, that was the wrong thing to do. But she could have hugged 5 people in the last 2 years.
She says she does that often in juvenile court.
Right. So that's the thing. It's just like, but you have to be aware of the situation that you're currently
And you know what? Nobody's upset when you hug kids.
Right.
But they are upset when you hug grown women who just murdered a man and who was sentenced to 10 years. The thing is, Judge, don't position yourself as a person who doesn't know the implications now either. Say, I understand it may have looked bad, but these were my intentions. So don't talk about my intentions. Talk about how you feel about it. But this was my intention.
Right.
She deserves to go to jail. You need to say that too. Right. She need to go. And she got what came to her. Right. And that's it. And then people will feel better. But once you start positioning yourself as a victim, I was just giving a hug and a Bible. She can get a Bible in jail.
Right.
She could definitely get. Her family could send her a Bible in jail. You don't have to give it to her.
But that's one of the things. I felt like whatever I do and like I choose, like, all right, I understand that we're in court, we're doing the proceedings, we're doing this. Okay, bring it back to my chambers. I'm going to have a conversation with her. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Now the whole thing is, now if she goes and tells the media what I did, now it looks worse on her. You understand what I mean? Because there's a reason why I brought it back to my chambers.
That's right.
So, I mean, like, that'll only be for us.
Yes.
So that's, like, one of the reasons why I'm just like, you have to be aware.
That was a bad hug. That was a bad hug.
It was the worst hug?
It was the worst hug.
It was the worst hug out
The worst
there?
hug this country's seen in a long time.
I can't.
Listen, more bad news.
Yes.
So now that we're a week after, this would happen in Texas, and this one happened in Texas also. Tay Jefferson. Atatiana Jefferson. Young lady, professional, auntie, in her home. All right, so this is how it goes breakdown. Neighbor calls, door of a house is open. He doesn't normally see it like that, so he's like, I want to make sure those people in the house are fine. Right. We actually get him to talk about it later. We find out. I got the video. Boom. They said he called non-emergency. I don't know if that's true or not. But the police show up. They show up. Flashlights, guns, adrenaline, bravado. That's what they show up with. So they come in like it's Call of Duty. They're instead of going through the front door that has been ajar, yelling into the door, who's in there? Is everybody all right? This, that, and the third. We want to just confirm. They like, we can't take any chances because we're always going to be attacked. That's the perception of police. So they go, they're searching around. It's nighttime. They're searching around the back.
Put your hands up. Show me your hands up.
Flashlights, everything. Boom, boom, boom. They're looking through. They see a window. They see somebody in the window. The police officer, pop, lets off one shot. Camera ends there. That's all that we get. We find out that bullet met Atatiana, what's her last name? Jefferson, who was just prior to that playing video games with her nephew Family is inside. She's dead and gone. We find out today the police officer resigned. This situation, rest in peace, Atatiana Jefferson. But when you see this back to back with Botham Jean, and if you don't say we have a problem with policing, then you're just an idiot.
Right.
Because we have a problem with policing. We have a problem with policing and police attitudes. Right. We have a problem with people having this savior mentality, and a savior mentality juxtaposed next to a selfish mentality. Right. I can't take any chances. Even though I'm trying to save people, I can't take any chances. That's what leads you to shooting into a window.
Right.
They're saying that there were guns in the house or a gun in the house. They're not saying it was an illegal gun. So they're trying to position it as he might have feared for his life. But guess what? Someone's sneaking around my house.
I'm probably going to get my gun.
We live in the culture in the country that says protect your domicile.
Right.
So now that I'm potentially have a weapon to protect my domicile, now that's the threat for me because a police officer might be sneaking around and might not do the smart. You're putting yourself at, that's the thing is, I think in their mind, some of these people will think of policing and a lot of these police officers from the perspective of playing Call of Duty and watching these movies, because it's as simple as knocking on the front door because it makes more sense to do.
Why wouldn't you just knock on the door?
Knock. Hey, who's in there?
Can someone come to the front door?
Someone come to the front door. Oh yeah, what's going on? Yeah, the door was open. Are you the owner of the house? Yes, I'm the owner of the house. Oh, okay. Could you come to the front door and then we can verify this information? What's your name? Oh, I'm so and so. Do you have any ID that has the address on it? Do you mind if I come in with you to present that ID? Oh no, don't, just wait right here. I'll give it to you. Okay, no problem.
That's it.
That's it. Anybody else in here with you? Yes, my nephew. Oh, okay, blah blah blah. Everybody's okay. Nobody's holding you. All of this stuff can be handled with a conversation.
Right. Exactly.
But they approached it like it was an insurgents. And now someone's dead. Now someone's dead, dog. A young lady's dead. For what?
Happens too often.
Happens too often. And as much people are going to go in the comments and they're going to say, well, what about Chicago? And we talking about, the white police officer killing the black people. What about Chicago? That's black on black crime. First of all, people want to kill cancer, and they want to stop the flu, and they want to cure AIDS. The AIDS people aren't upset with the cancer people for working on cancer,
right?
And vice versa. Right. So we need to work on all of these things
at the same time.
At the same time, because it doesn't matter if it's one or two people that die. If you're the one or two people that die,
it's important to you. Yes.
If your mother was the one or two people that die, it's important. And guess what? I'd rather work on the avoidable stuff first.
Right.
This is avoidable.
Exactly.
These are people who are getting paid. These are people who are being trained by our tax dollars. That's avoidable. You want me to worry about the drug lord?
Yeah. I'm confused as to when you pull up to the house and go, all right, what you want to do? Well, I'm going to sneak around the side and see.
Already went wrong.
I'm gonna go check around the perimeter and make sure that there's a door right there.
That's it.
The door is right there. The door that's open.
You know what's so weird?
They got the call because the door was open.
What's so weird is that we hold everybody to be accountable for their friends. If I was gangbanging in this house and you sitting right here next to me and I got a pistol on me, the police are taking you down. Did you know he had a pistol?
Right.
Did you know he robbed the store if you was in the car when I robbed the store?
Right.
A police officer will be in the same fucking cruiser with a police officer that just murdered a person. And he's not held accountable in the same way that we want to take everybody else down. Right. We got all this shit with Tekashi 6ix9ine, Rico. All of those people who weren't involved in these murders.
You want to know what's the crazy part? It's because now that you said that. All right, so we have bank robbery, whatever.
Yep.
You get killed.
Yep.
I get the attempted murder.
That's it.
Right.
You going
I get
down.
the murder, right?
It's your responsibility.
So I'm gonna tell you right now how police be accountable of other police.
Yep.
If you shoot someone and they take you to trial and you get murdered, we all get murdered.
We
I'm
all
gonna tell you
get
right
murdered.
now. I bet you right now. Hold on a second.
Yes.
Let's knock on the front door first before you do anything.
Police will be the first. We can't solve crimes because they don't talk in the community. You don't talk in the community. Start
Right.
with you.
Right.
Start with you. Okay, this is the first thing. All right, here's a paper. Did you see someone do anything illegal in the force today?
Mm-hmm.
Give every police officer a paper tonight. Did you see anything illegal go on while you were out there?
No.
And because someone's a liar.
Right.
Not everyone's a liar. Some people didn't see illegal stuff. Someone's a liar. So therefore, you don't even hold yourself accountable to the same principles that you're saying are making it difficult for
That
you.
are necessary.
Because they're positioned as heroes. When people position themselves as I ultimately can do something to save others, or this is heroic, then we all end up in this situation because this guy, I'm a hero. I get to go around with the flashlight. And if I see something, oh shoot, I gotta go home. Bop.
Yep.
Don't even you tell me first of all, were you clear what you shot at? That could have been the little boy.
Right.
Were you clear what you shot at? Because what I'm seeing is blinds. And if you were clear what you shot at, then you would have known that this person was a threat. So no matter what, he's wrong. No matter what, this person has to go down. But the most important thing is not even about him going down, is that people learn from this shit. And it already looks like it's going to be an attempted cover-up.
Right. This is a whole, you kind of always taught first contact. Like, you haven't even tried to make contact, period.
Hello?
Yeah, because the first
They're whispering.
When AI, when IA goes in and they're gonna ask them, they're gonna be like, "Did you announce yourself?"
Yes.
The first question that they always ask: "Did you announce yourself?" Did they know? Like,
but not just announce yourself. You have to announce and give a person a reasonable amount of time to respond. I don't just get to say, "Oh, you're moving." Yes, I made a sudden move. I'm trying to see who the fuck is behind me at the window. Hey, pop. How can I respond? That's a second. I can't respond. I can't even put my hands up in that time. Sad situation. Sad situation. Rest in peace.
Atatiana Jefferson. Where we at?
Somewhat of a lighter note. Not somewhat. Very lighter note.
Yes.
Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta.
Yes. Okay. Tyler Perry Studios.
I think it was last weekend.
Hotlanta.
Big festivities. Okay. Everybody was there.
Yeah, I was supposed to go. I didn't make it.
12 sound stages.
Okay.
We was Tyler's fucking up.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be on.
Got the invitation late. You know, had some other events to go to.
I mean, you can't make it to everything.
It's okay.
You can't make it to everything. But 12 sound stages, 12 big sound stages.
What's cool about these sound stages?
330 acres. These sound stages are named after amazing artists of African American ancestry. You got Spike Lee. You got Will Smith.
I'm assuming
Denzel Washington. Oprah. Diane Carroll.
Okay.
Sidney Poitier. Bill Cosby. No, there's no Bill Cosby.
I can't.
Did
you see my eyes?
There was no Cosby soundstage.
Huh?
But
The Jello pudding?
To be honest, probably should have been a Bill Cosby soundstage.
Who else was it?
I don't remember
Actors?
all 12. Actors and directors. And
Eddie Murphy?
No Eddie Murphy soundstage.
Trying to think who else.
I don't remember all. I said all the ones I remember.
Morgan Freeman?
No, Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
But it was a whole big thing. Everybody was out there. It was very beautiful. I got to see a little tour. Ava DuVernay had a clip.
Airing on BET this fall, Sisters. You may have also noticed on many of the structures, each home siding is designed in a different style in order to be used an unlimited amount of times. Another interesting note is that contrary to other studio backlots, most of the homes here were built to code and permitted with the city of Atlanta as permanent structures. So this dedicated neighborhood is here to stay. And let's slow down here a bit. Does anyone recognize this corner lot right here? You said it. The house that Medea built, the one and only Casa de Mabel Simmons. This home is an exact replica of the original home located in Atlanta's West End neighborhood. After years of filming on location, Mr. Perry eventually decided to build the home here to keep the productions behind these gates and use all available resources on the campus. Replica, coming in right at 35,000 square feet, trailing the actual White House by 20,000 square feet.
Of the tour going around, because he has a bunch of sets. Some of the sets are for his shows. He has like a replica of the White House.
Oh yeah.
And inside is a replica of the Oval Office, this, that, and the third. And the history of the soundstage is it used to be a Confederate base.
Oh.
And Tyler Perry brought this old Confederate base. Holla. 330 acres, and apparently is bigger than all of the studios in Hollywood combined.
Okay.
Yes. Doing big things, Naman.
Okay.
So, boom. Beautiful. Everything's going on. Now, if you heard, one of the sound stages is named after Spike Lee.
Yes.
And they have had their rift.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is Tyler Perry said, this is bigger than our little thing.
Right.
You still are so much a part of the impact of this culture and who I am that I got to name the soundstage after you.
Kill 'em with kindness.
Kill 'em with kindness. Now, we are a movie-based podcast. And we have had our situations with Tyler Perry.
Yes. But if he lets us record in one of these sound stages, I knew you was going to say it. I knew it.
Okay, next week. Live from Atlanta.
Live from Atlanta.
Live from Atlanta.
We got Medea on the
Live
episode
from
today.
TV studios.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's so much backlash. Listen, he squashed the beef with Spike Lee.
I like that.
Which was a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And I hope that everyone who's producing movies and who can produce movies, if they can, take your shit down to Atlanta.
Right, why not?
Take your shit down to this studio. Will Smith next shit better be at in his soundstage. But the thing is, like, whether you like the content or not, Tyler Perry found his niche. He found his core audience, and he fed them. And he fed this core audience with things that people thought wouldn't work, and they did. And it's amazing what he did, because he did put his money where his mouth is.
Right.
He said, you know what? I'm going to empower people. And he's actually put a lot of actors on, specifically Idris Elba. We would not have Idris Elba in the way we have Idris Elba had he not worked with Tyler Perry on Daddy's Little Girls, showing us that Idris could be a leading man. Beautiful thing. Taraji. We wouldn't have Taraji in the way we have Taraji had he not gave her her look, being a leading lady. Other people too. Tyler Perry has a great vision. He's a great man. And we would love to work with you at Down. No, but like,
my bags are packed already.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Right. It's a beautiful thing what he did, and I'm down with it. But I don't have to love the content to love what you do.
Right.
Love what you've done. I don't have to love the content to think like you're a creative genius in the fact that you can make all of this. You can actually make all of this. You can write all of this stuff. Yeah. I've yet to write one feature film. Yeah. You've written all of these feature films? I've yet to write one TV show. You've written all of these seasons of TV shows? Man.
So where do you think that he can go from here with this type of venture? Like this, so, because
Tyler Perry Presents. That's everything. I mean, Walking Dead is already filming down there. There's a lot of things that's going there. But at the end of the day, it's how many places are you going to go that's going to give you what you need? Everything is shot in New York, LA. If you're trying to do soundstage stuff, New York has small soundstage, Steiner Studios and stuff like that. Chicago, outside if you're going for looks. But at the end of the day, this is going to be the place to go. Right. There's a lot of flights going into Atlanta.
It sure is.
It's very easy to get there. Who's not big to small? I'm pretty sure if you're shooting your next $10 million film, why not take your ass down there? It's going to be cheaper than New York for you. Right. Take your ass down to Atlanta. So, like, at the end of the day, he's in on the money, and Hollywood is on notice. And as much as they're trying to box him out, he just keeps making it happen.
Right. So that's why I'm saying, like, does he? All right. So now you can do certain films. You can do right out the studio.
Absolutely.
You can do certain shows, but now are you still going channel to channel? Or are you trying to push a majority of these on Oprah's network until your network picks up? Or
I think that's the move. But he's on. So I guess his move is Oprah's network and BET. BET Plus picked up a lot of his stuff. Okay. Apparently, he originally had a deal with ABC.
Right.
That was his original deal before the TBS popped off. ABC did not believe in what he was doing. They were trying to change the stuff. They told him that he was saying Jesus too much. Look what Jesus got him, 330 acres. Right. So Tyler Perry, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's about branding for Tyler Perry. Right. Just like Oprah's branded, Ellen's branded. What Oprah says is dope, people are interested. People are following Tyler Perry at this point. Okay. And I think this studio situation, if you didn't like his content that much, you at least like him as a businessman. Right. So you're willing to give some other stuff a chance. The next Tyler Perry movie, as long as it's not Medea Boo, Halloween, we might be in there.
You're right.
And to be honest, all of the movies aren't bad.
You didn't tell them that we cover flights.
You're right. We'll be down there. We'll be down for screener. Yeah. Easy. So, Daddy's Little Girls wasn't that bad.
I have a handful of movies that I
yes.
The Family That Prays.
Family That Prays. Definitely enjoy that one. House of Pain. Yeah, I've watched a couple episodes and enjoy it. Pain, so it falls off for me, but everything is not for me. Right. Also, even in the biggest directors, every movie they made is not for me. Right. I do not like Jackie Brown. I said it. I do not like Jackie Brown.
Cut his mic off.
I do not like Jackie Brown.
Nah, dog. That's blasphemous.
I've been holding that. All
right, what's next, man? Scratch that.
I feel free.
Take that out.
Tyler Perry. Dope. We love you. Yeah. Loose Cannons and Tyler Perry partnership. That can work.
Okay.
That can work. All right. So boom.
Tyler Perry presents the Loose Cannons podcast.
We don't have anything for this week in racism, but we kind of had something for this week in racism.
Everything we did, we kind of talked about it.
Killing with Kindness.
What we got?
This was a very interesting one because it's beautiful and not so beautiful. It passed me on social media. Right. It was a very touching moment. I had my social media tea. I was like, so going on. But gentleman has a family.
Yes.
Wife, children, trying to do his thing. While he's working, he was also in school, getting his degree. He was working, going to school. In between that and his last year,
I'll have a letter for you tomorrow that says that he is a graduate of UNCG.
That's what all he kept worrying about was the degree. Oh, God. Thank you, guys.
gets diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Oh, wow.
We're going to put the video up. They call it an aggressive version of that. So that means like it's moving fast. And I believe he got diagnosed in July of this year.
Oh, wow.
So he got diagnosed. That was towards the end of his schooling. And he had one more class that he needed to do. And I guess he was just, you know, constantly talking to his wife about the classes, that and the third. They contacted the school, informed them what was going on. The school decided, the counselor was like, no, we're going to get him graduated. She decided to get him graduated because, like, you know, you can move classes around and say, oh, you know, this goes for this, blah, 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 whatever. So they got to the point where they're like, no, he can graduate. he's doing really bad, lost hair on his bed. I'm not sure if it was the dean or some official in the school, brings the degree to the hospital, has the family there, so they do a mock ceremony there, just like the family presenting him with a degree, him at the bed. They take pictures, this, that, and the third, and then he dies. Within the day later, within the day. Okay. It was just beautiful for a person in the school, a person in the university. I got to find the university's name.
To try to just to make it work.
Exactly, just to make it work and say, you know what, we're going to go the extra mile and present him and his family, so his children and his wife could see that he got the thing that he was striving so hard to do. And it's like, so people going that extra mile and using their heart and using their will to do something for another person is why we have this section of Kill 'Em with Kindness. And it was just a beautiful thing to see. We talked about a lot.
Yes, we did.
Because we have not been with you guys for a couple of weeks, but we are back, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh. YouTube, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell.
Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Man, oh man, oh man. Listen, hit us with the comment on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher.
Yes.
Man, hit us on that social media.
Facebook.
Ooh, Candace Podcast. Instagram, Twitter. I'm No Justin, No Peace.
And I'm Lou Rivers.
And every week, we are hitting you guys with conversations about entertainment, pop culture, politics, in movies, and TV, how they all intersect.
Yes.
This was the Loose Candace Podcast.
What do we have for them tomorrow?
Ooh, the movie review.
Movie review.
Joker and Gemini Man.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dun, dun, dun.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.